Hi, it's Friday afternoon on the 24th of March, and I finished early today at work, so I came down. It's been really lovely this afternoon. It's been really hot. I've done some sowing, had about 20 packets of seeds, and I'll show you in a moment what I've sown. Burnt the back of my neck. I've been sat outside. It was too hot to sit in the greenhouse, but I've still had the sun on me. At the moment I'm in the first greenhouse, and I just thought I'd show you how things are getting along. Not a great deal of change, but the cut and come again salad is just about ready to take a cut. I'll be doing that maybe tomorrow on Saturday, and we'll have some of that with tea. I've already taken my first bunch of radishes. They look lovely, don't they? They're not massive, but they'll be really nice to eat those. They're not sweet exactly, but there'll be no bitterness to them. They'll be really nice. The other cut and come again lettuce, that's a while to go yet. Plenty of radish growing on, and you can see just here that I've got another two pots, 15-litre pots, with cut and come again lettuce again. So that in another month or 6 weeks time we should have some more there to replace the pots on the left there. I will be putting lettuce in one of the raised beds, but it's always a hit and miss affair on allotments because there are so many slugs around. You've got to pepper the whole bed with slug pellets, really cover it up well. And in the past I've tried it and they've all been eaten, so that's why I'm doing them in pots as well. Another two pots here, smaller pots with radish again. You can see the beetroot are doing fine, they're coming on. The broad beans, well, they're getting on for about 10-inch high. Then I'm going to put them out over the next week and harden them off because they need to go in the ground. We're expecting a really good week in the week to come, so they'll be out during the day, and then maybe the following weekend or at some point during the week they'll get planted. Good news on the potato front. You can see there the first potatoes are coming through. There's a few in there as well in the next one, and I think there might be a few down here. You probably can't see it because it's too bright and shaded, but everything seems to be doing okay. I may cover these with fleece tonight because although it's going to be lovely during the day, we might get some cold nights. So that's a little greenhouse. Looking at the big greenhouse, you can see I've been a busy boy this afternoon. I've got lots of modules and trays and pots full of seeds. Obviously they've just gone in today, so there's nothing really to look at. But here it's a little bit late to be sowing chilies. Really should start them earlier, but I've just not had the time. I've been busy doing some of the structural things on the plot. But I've got several chili peppers. They're on the milder side. I'm not really into a lot of heat. And I've got some normal peppers as well. I've got sweet pepper, Cajun bell, and we've got pepper Midas, and then on the chili front we've got a hot cayenne and an Argy Delight chili. I think that's a milder one. I've also popped in lots of squash, my cucumbers, aubergine, and courgette as well. And the cucumbers this year are going to be Burplus and Market More 76. The aubergine, I've got the good old favourite Black Beauty. I think that's that one there. But I've also got one called Rosa Bianca, and the other one is Violetta Differenza. All my onions have come now. Now the weather's going to be really nice, as I say, this coming week, so these will probably get popped straight into the ground. This is the last lot to come. They're called Santero, and they're the ones that are supposed to be, I think they're resistant to bolting because they're heat treated, but they're also supposed to have some resistance to mildew, to neck rot. So, and there's quite a lot of them as well. That's one bag, and I don't know how many there are there, but they're enough to fill a full bed. The other onions over here, the first batch that I got, the heat treated Red Baron, I think they in a few days they'll be going in as well. These I may hang on to. These are a later variety called Caravelle Pink. They're a French onion set, and they've been in here a few days, but I think I'm going to keep them in here, as I say, until they sprout, and then I'll pop them in maybe in 10 days or so. Thought I'd try a full watering tray of cut and come again lettuce. I've also, in some of the flat trays here, flats you call them, don't you, or seed trays, I've got a couple of kinds of broccoli or calabrese. I've sown 3 seed trays with cabbage. I've done greyhound, which isn't quite an early one. Savoy King, which is the middle of the year to autumn, and then January King for over winter. I've got some kohlrabi in as well, red and white, and these are the Zeebrunn shallots. They only went in a few days ago. So we've got lots happening, lots sown. As I say, the weather's going to be great in the coming week, so I thought I'd give it a go. Some things maybe a little bit late, some things maybe a little bit early. We'll see what the weather does, but there's time to re-sow when it comes to courgettes and cucumbers and what have you. So that's the large greenhouse. Oh, down here at the bottom as well, I filled a couple of pots with garlic chives. I've probably missed a few things, but that's it. Plenty of sowing done this afternoon. Spent about 3 hours, but the greenhouse is full. I've put another trestle table in as well. So that's it for today. Tomorrow, Saturday and on Sunday, I plan to turn over some of the beds that have been covered with manure, and then, as I say, we'll put in some of the onions. I'm going to plant my first earlies as well. I might put some beetroot in as well, maybe some early turnips as well. Okay, I'll catch you later this week, maybe over the weekend. Cheers! Hi everyone, it's Saturday the 25th of March. It's just coming up to midday. I've been here for about 3 hours, and I've turned a couple of beds on the second allotment for the potatoes and onions when they go in, possibly tomorrow. And I've just weeded the third, that's the allotment in front of us, and the fourth allotment. It's all nice and clean now, and I'm just enjoying a nice cup of tea. And it's an absolutely beautiful day. It's close to 90 degrees in the greenhouse, so I'm sat outside, just too warm, just sat in the shade, and just having a listen to the birds. And it's worth pointing out that the sun has quite a pull on the plants. I'll just take you in the greenhouse and show you the little onions. As you can see, just like any seedling, the small onions are bending towards the sun. The sun's to the right of our shop, that's due south. And it's not just the little onions. Take a look outside. As you can see, the light from the sun exerts quite a pull on the larger onions as well. They're quite substantial now, but they're still leaning towards the sun, towards the light. And if we just zoom in, you can see almost at a 45-degree angle, leaning towards the sun. Just like I was this morning when I came down, it was really cold. Morning folks, it's Sunday the 26th of March, and it's already warm. It's 10 o'clock, it's about 70 degrees in the greenhouse, but I don't know if you can see from the electronic part of the thermometer, it dropped to 28.2 last night, so by my reckoning that's about -2 in the large greenhouse. Covered my potatoes up, so hopefully they'll be alright. because it's potato day today, and I'm going to get some first earlies in. So we'll take a look at the potatoes. These are the potatoes for 2017, and directly in front of me we've got the earlies that I'm going to be planting today. I've got 2 second earlies and a first early. The first early is Lady Crystal, and the second early is a Charlotte and Kestrel. They're all nice potatoes. The Kestrel, the ones with the purpley eyes, they're a show bench potato in shows. The Charlottes are always reliable, always taste really nice. I'm trying Lady Crystal for the first time, but I saw someone else with a good yield on YouTube, so I'm going to try those as well. And then maybe in 10 days or so I'll be planting the main crop, and they are King Edward and Picasso. I grew those last year, but then also International Kidney. And the idea is that we'll use up the first and second earlies, and then we'll make a start then on the International Kidney, because like Pentland Javelin, International Kidney or Jersey Royal, they are a first early and you can take them as new potatoes, but if you want to leave them in the ground, they just grow on and grow like a main crop potato. So they're like a bridging potato this year for me. We've got the ones we're going to plant today. We'll eat those first. They'll be in a separate bed, and then as we exhaust the ones we're planting today, we'll make a start on the next bed, which is on the next allotment, and we'll start with the Jersey Royals, and they'll just stay in the ground until they're used, and then we'll reach a point when we just lift the main crop at the end of the season, probably mid to late August. These 2 trays over here are 2 trays of Pentland Javelin, and like last year and the year before, these are going to be held in reserve. They're a first early, but like the Jersey Royal, they can be left in the ground and they keep really, really well in the ground, and they also store really well. We're still eating them, although they're a first early, believe it or not. But these will grow in the ground probably the middle of June, the end of June, and they'll be lifted probably at the same time, possibly even a little bit later than the main crop, and they'll store over winter with the main crop to the side there. So that's the plan. Just to recap: first tranche, first and second earlies, then Jersey Royal as a bridging potato. If we don't get through them all, it can stay in the ground and then can be taken up with the main crop potatoes at the back there. Then halfway through the season, Pentland Javelin will go in and they'll produce a second wave of early potatoes. We'll be able to dip into them and take them as earlies, or leave them and they'll store. So storing potatoes will be Picasso, King Edward and Pentland Javelin. Okay, we'll get some in the ground now. And that's the first row of potatoes trenched out. I'm not going to show you me digging it and planting it all up. I'll just put a couple in and you'll see how they're spaced. I did a rather laborious video last year, and it must have been one of the most boring videos ever uploaded onto YouTube, so I won't be doing it again. We'll put some potatoes in now. I'm not putting any fertiliser in with the potatoes. Last year I put fish blood and bone and organic chicken manure pellets. This year I'm putting nothing in. This bed has had well rotten manure on top of it over winter, and it's been dug in, and it had field beans as well, so we'll see how they fare. The field beans were just over there in that section, probably about 40% of this levelled area, and the 60% was manure. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on with nothing but rotten manure and decayed field beans. So I'll put some potatoes in the trench now. Potatoes are in, and I'm starting with 2 rows of Charlotte. I've spaced the potatoes about 10 inch apart. This is a 12-foot wide bed, and I've got 11 seed potatoes in there. And I left a little bit of soft soil at the bottom, just so that I could bed the potatoes into it. Some people put a layer of comfrey leaves in with the potatoes, but as you can see, my comfrey is not big enough yet, and I've not got enough of it. You probably need a bed of comfrey, and that's probably no bad idea because it's such a useful plant. But as I say, bit of soft soil at the bottom just to pop the potatoes in. I've not done the trench as deep as last year. I did them about 15-inch deep, probably almost twice as deep as that. But the new potatoes, and the mound is going to come another 8 to 10 inch above that, so there's going to be more than enough soil for them to flourish in. So that's the first row. I'm probably going to get about another 5 in. I'm hoping to get 6 rows, and that'll be the potatoes done. I'll show you when I've got all the rows done and they're all mounded up, because it'll take me hours. Okay, catch you later. And that's the last row going in, row number 6, and that's the second row of Lady Crystal. Well, that's the early potatoes done. We've got 2 rows of Charlotte, 2 rows of Kestrel, and 2 rows of Lady Crystal. The Lady Crystal are first earlies, the other 2 are second earlies. As you can see, they're mounded up already. I don't have any plans to do any further earthing up. Potatoes will come out where they choose to. Fingers crossed, most will come up on the ridge of the mounds, but they have a habit of coming out in the sides as well. What we may do, as they start and come through, is put straw in the furrows, mounded up to where the shoots come out, so that if any potatoes do happen to be near the surface, then they won't be exposed to light, and hopefully that'll keep the weeds down as well and help to retain moisture. So that's the first earlies done for 2017. There are a few potatoes left over. I think there are about 10 Lady Crystal because they were quite small, and you buy them by weight, and I think there might be 4 Charlotte. So the remaining potatoes will go into pots, and hopefully we'll get something from those as well. So that's it for this morning. It's taken me about 3 hours. It's just gone 1 o'clock. I've had a couple of tea breaks, but that's the potatoes done. I'd just like to say a thank you to Cliff from Castle Hill Gardens, who gave me a shout out a couple of uploads ago on his grapevine pruning update. He's a really lovely guy, Cliff, and he recommended that people come to my site to look at the no-dig beds that I've got, just to see how I layered those up. And he described me as a good gardener, which is really, really gracious of him. The truth of the matter is, I'm just a novice gardener, like most people who are uploading updates on their allotments. This is my 4th year on the allotment. I've grown fruit and veg for decades at home, in raised beds and in borders, but this is the first time I've attempted to do it on a larger scale, and I just love it. I love being outside. I love the project. I love, you know, the rewarding feeling that you get when you get, you know, an abundance of raspberries or potatoes or whatever else it is, and it's really nice to share that with other people. I had some really lovely comments in this last couple of weeks, so I'm really grateful for that. Thanks again to Cliff. As I say, it's a learning curve and we're all on it, and I would say I'm working my way up slowly, but Cliff's a very, very skilled gardener, and it's no surprise that his subscriptions have gone up massively. And I don't mean you have to pay to watch, I just mean is the number of people that subscribe to watch his channel have risen exponentially, and there's a reason for that, and he's a really good gardener. So visit Cliff when you get the time. That's Castle Hill Gardens. Thanks again, Cliff. Catch you later, everybody. That's it for this update.